overall thing is the siding of the house, and then there's a cutout. And the cutout is a white trimmed window.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out how to paint that. The reflection is its own little world over there. But the siding is reflected back into the window. Behind Dexter's head. It's the reflection of the siding.
Yeah.
Oh, here's another thing that's interesting about this photo, is when I took it as a square photo. So the photograph of Dexter looking out the window is a square. It's not a rectangle so much.
Oh.
It's mostly a square cropped image, and that's just something my camera did. So it actually kind of fits this ratio of this paper a little better that I got down here. That's a minor thing, but that's just something that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
So now that frame is white, but it's a bluish white because it's reflected light. So I'm wondering if I should lightly paint that frame of the window that Dexter's looking out of with like a very light pale blue paint, just to keep me honest while I'm painting.
Certainly the shadows in the window would be that.
And if I'm clever, I can leave the whites white.
Yeah.
Right?
I think you could, yeah. I would leave the white on the window and on the streak between his eyes.
Yeah. I got to leave parts of him white. Now, that window frame has several bevels of wood in there.
Yeah.
And it'd be really cool to try to get fairly close to that without painting it all out meticulously.
Yeah, right.
So, what I'm thinking of is let's try a quick pass here. It's really almost a black and white photo except for his head.
Yeah.
Well, and the sky blue in the window, I guess. I'm going to try to map out the frame of the window first.
Okay.
And then I can paint in the siding and stuff later.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use a very pale... Now, when I'm looking at it, it looks like the left side of the frame is bluer in the shaded areas of the trim, and yellower on the right. I'm looking at that window frame.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a perspective going on too, right? The frame is sloping down in front of us.
Yeah, right.
Whereas the top up here of the siding of the house is level. So these are little perspective vanishing point things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to use just a little cerulean and just very lightly kind of map out my frame of that window, the trim. So let's try this as an experiment. I'm going to come down and paint this. I'm going to try to leave a small border in my painting. I'm going to paint it how it lays out in the ratio of the my aspect ratio of the paper. So let's see here. So I'm going to do a line down. Let's just do this quick. Line down. And then I'm going to come line across. I like this value that I have in the brush. Line across down like that. And I'm going to make it a little bit wide. And then this is the other side of our trimmed window.
Okay. Yeah.
Right up here. And try to make that straight.
Yeah, that's value in the brush is very close to the sunlit value at the extreme right of the photograph.
Yeah, good observation.
Pretty much right on.
So I might have my window a little wide here. Now look at all the bevels in here, and then look at the reflected bevel.
Yeah.
Out here, inside the reflection.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick up a little more paint and finish this. This is an experiment here.
Get that same value.
Okay, I kind of like how it's just modeling and doing its thing. Now, there's some inner bevels. I'm going to try to preserve them if I can. Like this kind of stuff. Let's see if I can paint this quickly and simply and capture the structure of the frame.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to paint it exactly as it is. You just want to suggest the bevels.
Now see in here, this is greener in here. The reflected.
Yeah, it is.
And
I saw that green too. Yeah.
my frame is not straight. I'm going to pick up some green here and try to get that reflected inner part. And I'm simplifying my window. There's a lot to the window. I'm going to leave a band of white. And I'm going to come up like this. That's the reflected bevel.
Yeah.
And I think that color hue is pretty good.
I think so. It'll dry back a little.
Yeah. Okay, now there's a secondary one in there that's a little bit different. I'm going to try to make it a little darker.
Yeah.
So there's a secondary one right next parallel to this one.
You almost might want to do that with a rigger.
Too late. There we go. Okay, you see that?
Yeah.
That's a little dark. That's okay.
Yeah.
Now, on the right side of the reflection, I have you know what's interesting? My perspective is off in that I'm looking down in my painting. I'm looking down into this corner, but if you look at the photograph, I'm looking straight across at it.
Yeah.
So how do I paint that? I got to paint a razor thin line here or something. Like that. I'll just do that.
Yeah.
I think it's my perspective is wrong. I think this needs to be flatter up here.
Yeah, when I look at the picture, the window, the lower edge of the window under Dexter is almost straight across.
It's flatter, yeah.
Flatter, and you've got it angling more.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, it makes a lot of difference.
No.
One way or the other, really.
Yeah. I'm going to blaze through this, and we'll just see how it goes.
Yeah.
Okay. So now...
Well, up to now, it looks good.
Yeah, so I'm going to do a big wash here and try to capture the siding of this house.
Okay.
And I'm going to use the hake to lay in all this color fast.
Yeah, it had the value. Yeah, that first value you put down was right on for the sunlit side of the house.
Yeah, oh, over here you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's just mostly a pale cerulean blue.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Let me see if I can...
I guess there's green in there. There's certainly green in the background behind Dexter.
Now, yeah, we're looking into the living room, plus there's a reflection on top of it.
Yeah.
Now, here's a really subtle thing. Look in the reflection, and forget the reflection, but look inside the house, and there's a framed painting up here.
Oh, I can't see that.
Just barely. There's a framed painting inside the house.
I've got mine as
too bright or too dark?
Maybe I've got it too bright.
There's a framed painting in there that you can just barely see.
I can't see it.
Yeah, it's in there.
Yeah.
I got something in my eye. Okay. Okay, now watch this. Let's do this quick. This is... I think we'll do this one a couple times.
Okay.
This is the sunlit. That's a little too blue. I'm going to dull this down a little bit. This is the sunlit side of the corner of the house right here. Boom. I just want to get a wash in there. There. And that goes all the way down. And then we'll put the shadows and stuff in there. Now over here is a darker version of it. And there's a rain gutter coming down. The rain gutter, I'm going to try to get a closer value to that siding of that house here. I'm adding a little ultramarine to my puddle. This, I gotta get this little more paint. I was going to leave an edge, but I always do this. Now down here, this is even darker. I'm going to wash this in and we'll add the value as we go. There. This one here. There's all these gradients going on. All kinds of gradients.
You know, I wouldn't worry about the perspective all that much. I know you do, but, you know...
Well, it makes it convincing.
We're kind of surrealistic.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Get close to it, but you don't have to obsess over it.
Yeah. Now let's get the dark in here, and I'll have to try to leave the space for the dog. Maybe I should paint the dog before I paint the background.
I think so.
Let's do him quick. I want to keep this moving.
Yeah.
He has lots of sienna in his face and white. I'll do him with a light raw sienna first, and then we can fill in the details.
Yeah, I guess there's overall sienna. I see a lot of umber in it, though.
Yeah, we'll get it. We'll get him. So I'm going to try to figure out the shape of his head.
Yeah.
And his head is square on top. And it's tilted.
Yeah, it's flat across the top, yeah.
I might make him a little bigger.
Yeah, I would.
And the key to all this, in my learning, is you put in a wash, and then you fill in the details. We got to get the shape first.
That's what you do, yeah.
And then that's his ear cocked out, and then this head comes down. I watched a video last night of a guy explaining how he paints human faces, and he was again and again and again and again. He kept saying, "Forget that you're painting eyes and lips and noses and stuff. Just paint the shapes and paint." And this is what you say: just paint what you see.
Yeah, paint the shape.
The shape
and value.
Yeah.
Shape and value. Shape and value.
There. So that's the gist of the shape of his head. Now his ear comes up kind of like that. And this ear is folded over.
You could almost paint this with the rigger.
Yeah. I'm just kind of washing them in. There we go. And I can lift out the whites. And there's some shadows in there. There. That's the dog. And I just wanted to get his general shape there. Now... to make him looking at us will be interesting.
You got it pretty close.
Yeah, it's good enough. Now, let's get that dark reflection around and behind him. I don't know why, but I just want to establish that.
Okay.
And then I got to keep... Actually, I should paint the sky first. Now, that's the edge of our window. And what's interesting when you look at the edge of the window, there's a bright white, like really thin edge coming down. Do you see that? There's this.
You can see the edge of the house.
Well, yeah, that's the edge of the house out here.
Oh.
The corner.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I got a value in there, but it's kind of bleeding together.
The big dark behind Dexter is the side of a house.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's the reflection of this siding over here.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I suddenly see that.
Yeah, and that's great. That's the kind of composition I want, whereas the more you look at it, the more you see, right?
Okay.
The more you understand.
Yeah.
Now, this reflection of the sky over here is actually what Dexter's view is looking out.
Oh, okay.
Right? He sees that tree and that sky out there.
Yeah, and wrought iron.
Yeah, that's the railing of the stairs in front.
Yeah.
So look, let's put some sky in here. And I'll bring it down about like this. Now, below that is the greens of the neighborhood, and there's some sienna in there.
Kind of khaki greens.
Yeah. So I'm going to I'll just keep going with the hake because we're just doing this quick. Let me check something here.
Yeah.
Okay, we're 15 minutes so far. Now, I'm going to use just these puddles in my tray here of color that kind of match what I'm seeing. This comes all the way down it doesn't touch Dexter. See, I got Dexter too big in here.
That's okay.
So this is this reflected world out there. I see Mary.
Hi, Lord.
Hi, Mary.
We're doing Dexter.
We're painting a dog.
Oh, look at that ear. Oh, I love the ear.
That's my neighbor's dog.
Yeah, it's his neighbor's dog.
There's one little ear sticking out.
Yeah.
It's cute.
That's
And
Dexter.
this is my view when I look out my dining room window and look over there. I'm going to make him a little smaller and I'm going to move him to the left. I think I like how he's divorced from this reflection.
See? See? Can you see that, Mary?
You're showing her the wider view, right?
Yeah. I'm showing her the wider view.
Yeah.
Can you see the wider view?
Yeah.
So that's the scene, and then we're just painting a small part of it.
So cute.
There he is.
There he is.
Okay.
He's a very charming dog.
He looks like it.
He's a mixed dog with short little legs.
His
Yeah.
mistress and master have gone out for a walk, and he's waiting and looking out the window.
Oh, they didn't take him on a walk?
They take him all the time, but sometimes they go without him.
Ah, okay.
They might have gone shopping or something. And then he waits patiently.
He knows they'll come back.
Yeah, he's just waiting for them to come back, that's all. So this is that dark, and I gotta really try to lay it in there. Actually, that's not bad. This dark in the reflected window is darker than this dark, but this dark, it matches this dark down here. You see this?
Yeah.
And this dark comes down to this corner. The window frame is about an inch away from getting into the dark of the corner of the house there.
Yeah. There's a downspout there.
Now this value down here is the darkest siding of the house, almost the darkest siding of the house. And then it gets a gradient coming up this way.
Yeah.
So I need this to get lighter as we come up. There, I like this. I gotta get that rain gutter in there. So let's get a darker dark. I'm using ultramarine with a little bit of Payne's gray trying to match the side of that house. It's kind of a blue gray. And then this is very dark right down here. I might need to, I'm gonna rigger that or something, I think.
Yeah, you better rigger that.
Yeah. So this is good. Okay.
And
What do you think?
yeah, that looks pretty good.
I'm going to let this kind of dry out a little bit, and then we'll put some trees in there. And we got to put the wrought iron in there.
Yeah.
Now the dog, I guess I should paint him last because he has the most detail. Let's
Yeah.
keep going with the siding.
Okay.
I'm going to use a round because I can cover more space than a rigger.
Yeah, and you can put the shadows in underneath each of the siding slats.
Yeah. I'm making this a little bluer. I'm trying to zero in on the paint color of their house. So there's a beveled edge in here. That's the side of my window. This here, right outside my window, is a white edge, and then it gets very dark. I'm trying to paint straight lines with my freehand like this.
Yeah, that's good.
I should do this. I can get a straighter line this way.
Yeah.
There. And then I can make this the gutter, and the gutter's going to have two sides, and one side's darker. And then we have the siding coming out of this.
Yeah.
And the siding coming out of this, I can put it in there with some texture and character.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get the value.
Yeah, 'cause it's going to kind of disappear off the edge of the painting. Yeah. Yeah.
Little grayer.
That's a way to put it in.
I know they're different sizes, but I'm just playing around. Now, these horizontal lines here, running off the edge of the painting, they really don't have much perspective or vanishing point in them.
No.
In the photo.
No.
There, I'm just going to do it like this. And the brush strokes are kind of suggesting the grain of the siding.
Yeah.
And then we'll come in and put some shadows. Now this line runs down the gutter. This is going to be a shadow. Like this. There.
Yeah.
This line is not straight. That's my window. I don't want to eat into it too much. There. This siding, that's the gutter. This siding, okay. And actually, we don't want to overpaint the detail out here, right? We don't need to.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, that's right.
We don't need to make that photo real.
Right. Yeah, and that's another thing about the straight lines. They don't have to be straight like with a ruler because that loses the charm.
Yeah.
Of the painting.
Yeah.
This is painted by a human, not a computer.
Yeah, freehand.
It's not a photograph. It's a painting.
Yeah. Now let's see if I can figure out these shadows over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 planks of siding. So 1, 2, 3. The siding is fairly large. And that's pretty much flat right there. This one, slightly down.
That's good.
I don't have them spaced quite right.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The top one should be...
I like the way the paint dripped down right there toward the window, yeah.
Well, there's a little... So,
yeah.
The siding has an additional little piece of metal coming down it, and so those shadows kick out a little bigger.
Yeah.
If you look at the photo.
Yeah.
There's a little extra kick right here.
Right there. Yeah, that's terrific. Yeah.
And that's just a crisp... And it's not a straight line because there's a jag each time, each plank.
You might want to carry that over through the big shadow to remind you of where it is.
I need to paint this other line this way.
Yeah.
Now the question is the shadow on the sunlit side the same dark as the shadow on the west side?
Yeah. Well, if you look at this at the siding in the dark shadow coming down there, there's a change of perspective.
There is.
At the top, you're looking up at it.
Yeah.
At the bottom, you're above it looking down on it.
Exactly. I'm going to make a darker shadow.
The perspective change comes about halfway up the window.
Yeah.
The third dark across there.
The third dark is almost straight.
Yeah.
Because that's eye level.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So here, I'm going to make these darker. See that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'm going to continue this straight. Now what's really interesting, if you want to talk about minutia, is there's a little light edge above that shadow on this side.
There is. Yeah.
There's a little gradient there.
Yeah.
So I should try to do that. Now these are going to start angling up. This is still wet, but that's okay. I'm exaggerating the perspective.
Yeah.
And then this one's down a little bit. And this one's down more. How's that?
Yeah. That dark value you've got there carries right out onto the sunlit side.
Yeah.
Yeah. There.
And that's great. You know why? Look how much darker that same value looks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now this is bleeding out because it's wet. That's okay. I can come back and rigger those and make them tight.
Okay.
That's just going to make those shadows look more charming, I think.
Yeah.
Now, we have the same thing over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there's a dark one across the bottom of our photo here.
Yeah.
And it parallels with the perspective view the trim of the window.
Yeah. Right.
My window trim will have a dark line under it.
Yeah.
And this is probably going to bleed a little bit, so let's see what happens. Like that.
Yeah. That's okay.
No, yeah, I kind of, the bleeding is kind of fun.
Yeah.
So here we'll have this one, and these have no real no real perspective on them because they're so short. And actually, they're shorter in the photo than I have room here.
Yeah.
I need to make them a little wider. So we're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's the same as we see over here. So here, 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 here. And I'll tell you why there's not much perspective on this. It's because I'm looking flat at that wall almost.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's looking good though.
It's fun. This is a fun one. Now the gutter has a super dark right here.
Yeah.
There. And then on the other side too. And the other side is, the gutter is a rectangular shaped tube.
Goes all the way down.
Yeah. And it's a rectangle. So one side is a shadow, and then the other side is more sunlit, but it has a bunch of little corrugated edges.
Yeah.
There's a guy that the guy I work with when I'm doing remodeling. He always pronounces it corrugated, and so I picked up that habit, but it bothers me because it's corrugated.
Yeah, it's corrugated.
But he says corrugated.
You know, I don't think there's shadows in that drain pipe. Those real fine little shadows down the lighted part of the drain pipe. I think you ought to ignore them.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of a.
It'll screw it up if you try to paint it.
It's a minor detail.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really come into the story.
No, it doesn't.
I'm just looking at it for a sec. Okay, so we have it mapped out fairly well. There's some problems with the angles and stuff.
What about the value of the shady side of the house that the window's set into? Yeah, right there.
This all needs to be darker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this, look at this.
It looks good, Ward. When I sit and look at it, it looks really good.
Yeah, it's fun.
I kind of like your window better than the photograph. It's a lot better.
Let's knock down this value. I'm going to use a round to lay in the siding with a darker value.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring in just a touch more gray. I'm trying to capture the hue of the I know it's not important, but since we're in here, I'm going to try to do it. Yeah. So let's see what happens if I knock this down.
Just so long as you get the value right.
And I got to exaggerate my values. I always feel better when it's darker darks and lighter lights.
Well, like you always tell me, it's going to dry lighter.
Yeah, every time. That's an undeniable force of nature. It dries lighter. Okay, so there's that new siding color.
Okay.
Now I want to work it so that, like, this here is darker and then it gets a little lighter as it comes down each one of these planks. Now watch this. What if I do this? What if I do something like that? I'll put new shadows in here. I know I'm blowing out my shadows. So that's shadow, and then it gets lighter as you come down, like that.
Yeah.
I'll show you. If I do this, I can kind of exaggerate the lighting.
If it blows it out, it'll blend it.
Yeah, I don't want to. I want to leave a little separation in here. And then I can actually, these should be getting lighter as we get higher up on the house. My house is casting a shadow on their house. The sun is shining over my house towards their house. So my house is, 15 feet.
That's good. I like that.
So I just want to kind of blend a little bit in here.
I think that looks good.
So look here. What if I lift off I gotta see if I can control this.
Yeah.
And then we'll put in the super dark shadows here again. There. This is what I'm trying to do. Lift this back. There's a little step pattern of light. And I'm exaggerating it for our painting.
You know, there's a little white, a grayish white stripe along the window edge that shows the pitch of the siding.
Over here.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I could probably almost scrape that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's try that before we forget. So those angles are. I want to make sure, you gotta let me know if I push the painting out of the frame of the.
No, you're fine. You're
camera.
fine.
Because I get distracted of other stuff. Okay.
No, you're doing it right. It's okay.
So it's a wider triangle at the top.
Yeah.
Of each one of these.
Yeah.
There's a little edge here.
Yeah.
So this is wider. I got to go small to big. So I can go small. I don't know if I can get this. Like this.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Bring it down from the top. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe.
I'm getting them in here, and then I'm going to paint. I'll mess with it with the brush.
Ooh, that was good.
Look at this. What if I do above the shadows, the little edge?
Yeah, there is one there. There is an edge above the shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
This is what I'm talking
That's
about.
great. Great. Oh, that really did it.
And actually, I can do that over here. You see there's a little white edge above the shadows.
Yeah, there is.
I think what that is mineral deposits from the rain running down the side of the house.
Yeah.
And it creates a little mineral deposit on the bottom edge of each one of these. So let's see. I got to think about this. This one's here. So that's the shadow. The drip edge is right above that, right there. Right there.
Looking good. Beautiful.
Just letting the paper do what it wants to do.
That's it, yeah. Yeah.
I could not paint these, but I could scrape this a little.
Yeah, I guess you could do that. Yeah.
Just suggesting the angles of stuff.
Yeah.
Now this sunlit side is too bright, I think, but it might be good.
No, that's right. That's the way it is.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I think you got the values in there quite well.
Okay, let's darken up the background behind Dexter. I should figure out, I guess I'll paint Dexter last. I'll paint right up to him and then we'll paint him last. Yeah. Now the dark in here is grayer in my brain. There's less color saturation in here.
Well, I can't tell about color very well with this, and I'll leave it up to you.
Now I sent you a color one and a black and white one. The color one looks almost black and white. So you might be looking at the black and white one. If you look at the color one, Dexter is sienna.
Yeah, he is.
Okay. So I'm going to darken up this interior of the house.
Great.
And I'm going to come down. There's that beveled edge coming down. Boom, 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 boom in the reflection.
Yeah.
Now behind Dexter, inside the house, I kind of want to lay this darkness in here. And I want to leave Dexter unpainted right now.
Right.
I'll see if I can get a better picture of him so you can see him. He's a great looking dog. And this, I want this to come out the other side of him, right here. I have him a little too big, so I got to remember what's going on. And then
yeah, you need him a little too big because awfully small to paint.
Yeah. So I'm just going to bring the siding of this house straight down. I know there's a little beveled edge in there. There. So this is our reflection.
Yeah.
Of this siding. I'm not really paying attention to my spacing or anything.
No,
now,
that's good to do it that way.
There is a little perspective in there on the siding. It's sloping down in the reflection.
Yeah. Yeah, there is.
And that's Dexter right there. I gotta be careful.
Yeah.
Leave a little room for him. There. There is a slope on that reflected stuff in there. Okay. I'm going to put a little bit of color right over here on. He's farther over, but I got him right here. And he's leaning a little more than I have him.
Yeah.
Let's have him lean a little bit more. Now again, the reflection in here has those scraped edges on the siding.
It does.
I'm going to leave some of those whites in there as character.
That looks good.
Now I'm trying to think if I can just keep this going. In the reflection, it's going to go right through his head too. You see there's lines through his face.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you even need to worry too much about it.
I'm looking at the perspective of the lines behind him. Something like that.
Yeah.
This is darker. This is pretty good in here. This is just...
Yeah. Yeah.
There's all kinds of more bevels in there, but I'm not going to worry about it. So let's get some green in the trees out here. I got to keep this moving. We're almost done. This, boy, in the when I look at what you're seeing through the camera, I really like that sunlit side.
Yeah.
It could be a little bluer, I think, a little more dark blue. What am I doing here? Trees. I want to put some green in the reflected trees. I'm going to make my green a little bit brighter than I think I need to. Let's see here, right here. Ooh, gotta be careful.
Yeah, that's good.
These are the trees. These are poplars out here. Or whatever. They look like poplars.
Yeah.
And then we have another tree in front that's kind of blocking. I want to bring this green down. It's in the story behind what Dexter's looking at. So you know the Wyeth painting of the woman crawling up the hill?
Yeah.
It's Christina, I think is her name.
Yeah.
She had damaged legs from polio or something.
Yeah.
And she fell out of her wheelchair and she's crawling back up.
Yeah.
I should call my painting, that painting is called Christina's World. I need to call this painting Dexter's World.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll have this come up into the sky a little more. I want it kind of painterly. There. I want to convey enough to make that look like a reflection.
Yeah, no, it looks good. I think it needs to be a little darker, though.
Yeah, there's some dark, deciduous bunches of leaves.
Yeah.
And I see that as a little bit more of a brownish.
I wouldn't get too hung up in the railing.
Right. I was just going to rigger some quick lines.
Yeah.
And suggest that.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's try to get some foliage here.
Yeah, that kind of comes up into the house and reflection and merges with it.
It's a little bit blue, and I kind of want to set it apart from the the house siding. So I'm going to add some yellow to make it greener.
Okay, yeah.
I want that to look a little bit more like a bush out there instead of a silhouette.
Yeah. I think you got the value of the lights at the bottom of the reflection just right.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to preserve that.
Yeah.
Let's put a little more
Yeah.
this
good.
in here.
Oh, that's great.
Not too much.
That looks fun.
Now we'll rigor in some lines. And those could be quite a bit darker.
Yeah.
Almost, it's. Boy, I see like a purple in there almost. In that railing.
I guess you are going to have to put those in, and better do it with a fine rigor.
Yeah, I'm going to create kind of a purplish, just to have some color in this. I'm using ultramarine and alizarin. Get some alizarin in here. Ooh, yeah. Okay. So, this railing can just be kind of quick and crazy.
Yeah.
Let me test this on the test paper. And then there's this horizontal.
Yeah.
And there's really it's really weird. It's kind of helter-skelter looking.
Yeah, that's fine.
And there's a fat post. I'm not going to get too much detail, but I kind of want to have it similar.
Yeah, there is a fat post in there.
Yeah, it's the corner of the railing or whatever, like that. There.
Yeah.
There we go. Now there's some trees out there.
Yeah, and there's some blue sky.
I'm leaving the blue sky. I got a little blue in there.
Oh, you don't want the blue?
I do. It's in there.
Yeah. Oh, it's in there.
Yeah, we painted that really early.
Can't hardly see it.
Yeah, I could blue that up a little bit more. Let's add some burnt umber tree branches out there. I'm gonna get some burnt umber.
Is that turquoise or?
My sky is a very pale cerulean with a hint of turquoise. I'll add some more blue up in here.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So let's get some tree trunks in here. Just really quick.
Yeah.
Suggestive. Like this.
Yeah.
Little branches. Okay, not too many. Bring this down.
Oh, you're looking good.
Down here, there's all this. That's all I want.
Yeah.
Let's add a little blue up there. I'm going to clean out my round. When I saw this, the minute I took the photo, I knew this would be a good painting. It just is such a weird thing.
Yeah.
I'll have to give this to these guys if it turns out good.
Yeah, I hope so.
They'll get a laugh out of it. They're nice people. Let's add a little cerulean blue, a little turquoise. Where's my test paper? That's very, very blue. I can burn up some paint on my test paper here. Now, there's an edge of a window I want to preserve, which I kind of...
Yeah, sharp. There. Good. Yeah.
Now I can lift that back with the paper towel a little bit. There's some weird clouds or something up here.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
And then there's a little blue over here.
Yeah, perfect.
You think I should leave it in that heavy?
Yeah, I think you got the window done.
Good.
Window reflections are done.
Good. I could put in some rigorous shadows under the siding.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch. Let's make those darker.
Okay.
This will be charming. So I'm going to get a little ultramarine burnt umber puddle going. Okay, what time is it? 8:09. We're doing good.
Yeah, the value of that whole wall is darkest at the top and gets lighter as it comes down toward Dexter.
Let's take a look. Yeah, the darkest corner is up in here.
Yeah, right. Then it gets lighter as it comes toward Dexter.
I kind of might need to do some sort of wash to try to simulate that.
I think keep doing what you're doing though, with those shadows under the. Yeah.
We'll sneak up on that. There. I'm not really paying attention to the spacing and all that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of letting it be a little bit crazy.
Yeah. Just approximate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one right behind his head, right down here.
Yeah. Yeah. Comes out the other side.
This one, these can be darker.
Yeah. Yeah, they can. Yeah.
And I know they're all not evenly spaced or geometric or whatever. They're not very architectural. I don't care. This is kind of the theme that's running through the whole scene.
Yeah.
These lines. Now,
Yeah.
I kind of like this dark.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
This is kind of this weird scene.
Yeah.
This is very dark over here too.
Yeah.
There. Now, I gotta work on that. This is good. That side of that downpipe could be a little darker.
Yes, it should. And it should link, dark should link up with the horizontal darks coming in under the siding.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make this a little whiter.
Yeah. And maybe even blend it out.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna make sure they all touch. I'm gonna leave it have a little bit of paper character in it.
Yeah.
Gotta be careful with my water.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see the blending. There's a blending happening under each siding plank. There's a little bit of a soft gradient.
There really is. You've got it somewhat in the reflection.
So I think if I paint these and then I go back and...
I like that.
Now...
Yeah, that little white above them is good.
Yeah, the scrapes. There we go, like this.
Yeah. That's the way to do it. Beautiful.
Not too much. It's a game of pressure and...
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Knowing just how much pressure to put in there.
The great thing about this is I can keep noodling with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Over here, this inside edge, there's the reflected glass, and then there's the trim, and the edge of the trim is just razor sharp coming down. In my painting, it's kind of fuzzy.
Yeah, that's okay.
You don't think I should try to get that as straight edge?
No. I don't think so.
Okay.
You could try, but
Nah, that's all right. I'll trust you. This could be a little fatter right down here.
yeah. I'd kind of paint that shadow out into the dark under the window. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a little curve in there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
And then this down here, same thing.
Yeah. Good.
These corners.
Yeah.
Like that a little bit. There's this weird little suggestion of a curve here that the light does.
Yeah.
See, this could be darker up in here.
It could be.
Let me do this fast and loose. I'm going to get a kind of a watery, darker paint here and try to get kind of a smoother gradient.
Yeah.
I'm trying to paint these slats
Yeah,
out.
you're doing fine.
Yeah,
You're doing real good.
I'll clean that up.
Yeah. Yeah.
This should be darker up in there. I'm adding more ultramarine. Trying to keep it bluer. There we go. I kind of like that little edge there. I know it's not in the... I'll darken that up a little bit. There. Okay,
That's good.
let's fix this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Came over into the reflection.
Yeah, I can put a little tree there, that's okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, let's look at Dexter now. He should be dry. This is, I like how all these lines are kind of, I like the jumble of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it turns out really, it looks real good.
It is, what was the word you said? It's not impressionist, it's, you used a different term for this. Okay, let's see if we can get the dog. This will be interesting. The dog has two eyes and a nose. His eyes are in the center of his skull, almost like a human. He has more forehead than you would think. So I kind of got to remember to keep his eyes a little lower than my instinct. And his eyes are a couple of arches. The eyeballs should be round, but they do have that little bit of a football eye shape.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the opening for the eye, called the palpebral fissure, the opening between the upper and lower lids, makes a kind of a football shape.
Now, if I zoom in on the dog, I'm going to zoom in on my computer here. He has a bit of a worried look. Can you zoom in on the dog on yours?
Yeah, I am.
Do you know how to zoom?
Yeah,
Zoom in on his face.
I did.
He has kind of this great
Yeah, he
expression in his eyes.
You're right. Uh-huh.
And I don't know how I can get that. He looks intelligent, and he looks worried, and he looks... I don't know.
I think it's the darks around his eyes plus the highlight in the eyes.
The glint
Yeah.
of the reflection.
Yeah.
Well, let's do his ears first. I'll work up to his eyes. So let's do his folded ear. His right ear is an umber.
We might need to scrape that a little. Like the outline of the dog against the dark there isn't quite right, is it?
No, well, I can paint it in.
Yeah.
I know that's kind of not... I'll paint the dog big enough to cover that.
Okay.
So here, let's try to get this ear. So I have this color here. And the ear is folded down. I think if I just do it with this one color, and then I can play with the textures and stuff. There. And it comes up a little higher over here.
Yeah, quite a bit.
And then this ear is grayer over here.
Yeah.
Now on his head, there's a line that's coming towards us. Like that.
Yeah.
And then down here on his neck.
Yeah, his neck.
This is kind of gray down here.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to have to get some colors in here.
But it has those colors in it.
Yeah. Now,
And inside his ear.
I'm going to lift back that ear a little bit.
Yeah.
Just want to touch it. Better.
Good, good, good.
Okay, now, I want to get a little bit of a light sienna kind of, I guess. My rigger has some raw umber in it. I'm going to add some raw sienna. Where's my test paper?
What we got to do, we got to get the outline of the top of his head across there.
Okay.
Just right, that shows him cocking his head to his right. And, yeah.
I think...
We may have to lift out a little in there.
Yeah, because there's some blue back in there where I want to put it. What if...
See, we've got that top of his head almost horizontal.
Yeah.
But in the picture it's slanting.
Yeah.
According to his head tilt.
So I could paint the blue down a little bit to tilt his right side down farther. Let's try this. The trick is matching the blue.
See, the right, his right ear comes right into the side of his head at the tip.
Ooh, that's wet. Yeah, see, this is wet. But, look at that.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
Much better.
I gotta get rid of this up here anyway. There we go.
See that? The top of his right ear really tilts.
Yeah, it comes up tall and then drops down.
Yeah. It drops down because his head's tilted.
Yeah. This might take some more forethought on the dog.
Yeah, that's better. You could get that out like that. That's better, but still has quite a ways to go.
Yeah.
You almost have to get that cock of the head right to get the gesture of the dog.
Yeah. Yeah, we might not get it in this painting because I got all this other stuff laid in here. So let's just keep going. Okay. Now, this has a bigger curve up here than I have.
Yeah.
So negative spacing the dog is kind of hard.
Yeah. Well, that's the nice thing about it. He's against a black background, so.
And then this ear sticks way out. I'm actually tearing the paper away. Okay, I'm going to keep moving here. Let's see here. I want to get kind of this muddy, ruddy side here of his face. He has a prominent cheek. And it comes down into his muzzle. And then there's a shadow up here on his neck. And then lower down his neck is dark, right there. I put a line there, but I don't need that line.
Yeah, that's okay.
Let's get that line out. There. Now, his ear up here is kind of big. His ear gets kind of lost in the background, and I kind of like that. You don't really know what the hell he is when you first see him. It's like, what the hell is that thing looking at me? And then after a moment, you should realize he's a dog. So this is his face up here, his temple, and then under his eye there's a little triangle, and then the side of his face back into his muzzle on this side is over here. I'm kind of sneaking up on his face. Now here, his forehead, and then out here like this, and then around his eye gets dark. This is here. Okay. Yeah, if we're gonna get a perfect dog, we gotta do this a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We're learning.
It's like the face you did the other day of your friend
Kyle.
Kyle. Yeah.
Yeah, I just gotta do several dogs. I'll get it.
The dog's face is like Kyle.
Yeah.
You sculpture it. You know, it takes a lot of lifting and redepositing.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell Kyle that you said that painting a dog is like painting Kyle. It'll make him laugh. He'll laugh. We're friends. Okay. So here's the top of this head. There's the side. He has kind of this prominent marking coming down, and then it blends out over here a little bit. Okay, now over here, around his eye, I might have his eyes too high on his head. Let's get rid of that. Down here, let's darken this up. I'm going to do a dog pretty quick here. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'm going to come in and try to figure out his eyes really quick.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, let's do it fast, and then we can do it again.
Yeah.
So here's his eyes and his nose. His nose is quite large, and his nose is above the edge of the window, but the window is kind of warping it, and it's almost a perfect circle.
Yeah, but if you look at it, you can see his nostrils.
Yeah.
The highlight on his nose.
I'm gonna paint this a little bigger.
Yeah, quite a bit bigger.
Much bigger. Okay, let's go bigger. Trying to keep it round. I'm looking at the shape. I'm not trying to paint a nose. I'm trying to paint what I see.
Yeah.
And his nose is quite round. And then it's distorted at the bottom by the reflection of the glass.
Yeah.
His nose.
Yeah.
Now his eyes, this is where it gets really fun. This comes down well above his nose.
Yeah.
That's the bottom of his eye. And then this one is higher and off here because his head is cocked.
Yeah. That's close.
I'll paint this all in. I'm trying to get... Now this eye has got to be rounder up on top.
Ooh, that's good.
It's rounder over here.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
Now his eye actually it has a bottom eyelid that's kind of straight.
Yeah. Yeah, it's straight across there. Actually, it slopes down a little toward the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I think that his left eye needs to be a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
They don't match quite yet. They need to match
And they're round.
in size.
Yeah, this one's longer. It's our perspective.
Yeah. Ooh, that looks good though, Ward.
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, looking good.
Now I'm going to darken up his shadows. I think we can get pretty close on this one. This is not going to be the final painting. This is just trying to figure it out.
Okay.
Because we had to do Kyle a couple times.
Yeah.
He has a dark bluish patch right here.
Yeah.
That comes up. His muzzle is not as white as we have it, so it's kind of like that.
That bluish patch is on his cheeks on both sides.
Yeah. Yeah, he might have some blue healer or something in him.
And up in his ears, yeah.
Yeah, now his ear up on the left, his right ear is more of a umber.
Yeah.
It's a darker brown right here. Like that. I'm trying to leave a little bit of the highlight across the top. And then here, it's very dark under here. And there's a little bit of, not lighter, but not dark. There. This here, there's some character inside of his ear. And then his ear comes out with a big scrape. I'd have to do a big scrape right there.
Yeah, that's the only way to get it.
So let's see if I can paint this. I'll scrape it in a second. Yeah, I don't have his eyes quite right.